As I come to you today, hopefully we are coming to the end of our current pandemic. Who would have known? I go back, and 2 years ago we were talking about the 4th of July fireworks, and I said, well, we'll just wait a couple of months and we can have something after Labor Day. And little did I, or many people really realize it was going to last this long. But I do want to take time out to say how proud I am of the people of Palos Heights for helping us get through this pandemic. All too often, part of this became so partisan that it was in many cases disgusting. But the people of Palos Heights rose above that, and we did not let that get into our situation here. And we continue to support ourselves as local officials. You supported the local businesses. That'll bear out a little later in my talk, and I'll explain some of that stuff. And everybody worked together. I think we got through this thing, and hopefully it's over. Only time will tell. But I think. Again, I just want to thank the people of Palos Heights and say how proud I am of them. And also not to shortchange our employees and our staff here at the City of Palos Heights. We went through some turbulent times as far as shutting down the City Hall, in many cases, shutting down different operations, whether it be the rec center or Lake Katherine. We went through 5, 6, 7, 8 cases of COVID over those periods of times, but we came through it on the other side. Shining, and I think you'll start to see everything starting to pick up now. And again, just thank you for all you've done. One of the things I'd like to talk about this morning are the finances of the City of Palos Heights, and I think you'll see that we continue to have a strong balance sheet. Our general fund continues to be strong. It has been for the last, say, 15, 20 years or so. That is a very good reflection on the people of Palos Heights and the staff we have working here at the city. We continue to keep about 30% of our annual budget in the general fund for a rainy day, just not unlike the pandemic we went through, to help us support things when maybe tax revenues were a little short. What that also lets us do is take that balance of the 30% and put it into capital funds. And that's something, as a town getting close to 60 years old, we from time to time need to replace different capital structures within our town. And we've been able to do that. And we've been able to pair the surpluses we've had in the operations of the city along with grants in order to get funding for various projects over the last 10 to 15 years, 20 years. You'll see that over the last 10 years, we've received $6.8 million in grants. And since 2001, that number rose to $10 million in grants. So again, those types of things help us to support the operation of the city, and in many cases just do essential replacements of infrastructure that needs to be replaced. Our annual road program, when I came into office back in 2001, we didn't have a program for replacing the roads. Now what we did, we initiated a vehicle sticker. At the time before that, we didn't have a vehicle sticker. That money goes towards the road program every year, and then we also take some of the motor fuel tax money to go for that fund. You can see since 2002, we averaged about a little over $400,000 a year in replacing the old roads and culverts in the old section and new sections of Palos Heights. It's a program that we started that over a period of 15 to 20 years, the intention was to replace every road in the city of Palos Heights, and that's come to fruition. Those capital funding projects that we've done over the years, we've purchased new trucks. Last year we bought three 350 trucks for the city. This is not something we do just to have nice trucks. In many cases, when I came into office, not to say anything negative about anyone, but the idea of replacing a truck, what they used to do is paint the truck and put it back out on the road. Well, we've put into place 3 new 350 trucks that we've replaced. I think one was close to 1980 truck that we replaced. We put in a front end loader that cost us $108,000. That allows us meaning the Public Works, to do many of the projects that we would have to subcontract out if we didn't have the equipment. This way we're able to save money by using our own staff. The motor fuel tax resurfacing fund, as I said, we've resurfaced most of the roads in the old section of Palos Heights over the last 15 years. We also now are doing a fire hydrant maintenance program where we will, over a 3-year period, scrape and repaint all the fire hydrants throughout the city. Again, it goes into the road maintenance is another thing we do through our capital projects. We maintain the roads from time to time when there's potholes and such. We have to go out and replace them or basically patch them. We've got a program in place now for the sanitary sewers. We are cleaning them and testing them and televising them to make sure they flow well for the future. We are running through a situation now where over the next couple years we're going to have to reevaluate the water system we have within the city. We replace, again, the town has been around for 60 years. The water system has been around for almost that many years, and what's happening is part of it's starting to deteriorate. And it's time to now reevaluate some of those collapsing pipes. You'll see from time to time throughout the city our own crews, and again, that's something that we do internally. We are able to go out, dig up the road, and replace the pipes. But that gets to the point where there is some point in time where you've got to replace the pipes, and that's where we are in many cases throughout the city right now. Another thing we did is that we replaced the 123rd Street from Harlem Avenue to 76th Avenue. That was done. We replaced the road, the culverts, resurfaced it. We did that at the end of last year. Unfortunately, we just finished up right at the end of October when the plants were starting to close up. And now we'll need to go in spring. We've already got a checklist of things the contractor has to come through and replace and repair some of the landscaping and things. And that'll be done. That's just kind of common practice where you have a checklist and they come back in spring. But along the park, you'll see some of the, especially the art garden there, some of the fixtures have to be put back into place. And that'll be done within the next month or so as spring breaks, hopefully. And again, things say spring, winter, we've had a number, close to 20 snow events for this past year that we've gone out, and our plows have gone, in some cases, 24 hours a day. I think I, quite frankly, have had nothing but comments, positive comments from our residents as far as what our city does as far as snow events. I think you'll see that the roads, for the most part, are clear for passage. And again, you have to understand, we are responsible for our side streets, okay? Harlem Avenue is not ours, 135th Street is not ours, 131st Street, 83 are not ours. So if you see, roads that are not done there in some cases, and quite frankly it happens because of the size and the magnitude of the project and coverage that the state and local state and county have to do, it may take them a little longer than it does us to get to those roads and get them clean. But our people are out there right before, salt them, get them plowed, and get you to work or to school or whatever in the morning. And that's our goal, and I think we've done a great job accomplishing that for throughout the year. And again, I can't say enough for our public works people. They've devoted themselves to the city. We've got a wide range of people working there, tradesmen, workers, just common workers. We can do most anything that any individual repair that has to be done without having to call in. In some cases, we don't have to call in other subcontractors to do that. We can do it here and save the city money. So that's been an ongoing thing. Let's move on to the recreation. During the last year, we've had the Palmer Park. We had a grand opening. We resurfaced it, put in some new fields, some new pickleball courts, tennis courts, gym equipment. That looks great. And again, we had the north side of it got a little torn up there through the 123rd Street project, but that's all been replaced. We redid that parking area over there to make it a little easier to get in and get out. We resurfaced the CalSag Trail over the last year. I mean, that's another major thing that we did. We came up as far as the recreation, we started a new strategic plan and marketing plan to market ourselves more to the public. As you know, we run programs and we compete with other towns, whether it be with individual programs, daycare programs, whether it be the health club. We have to market ourselves to make ourselves viable and show people what kind of programs we have, which are some of the greatest programs you can imagine. I was on the Recreation Advisory Board, probably 40 years ago when my son was born, And quite frankly, our rec department consisted of the office I'm in right now here in City Hall, one office. We now have a health facility. We've got the rec center that has got 2 basketball courts. We've got the workout area, not to mention all the classrooms that we have on the north side of the building, and all the parks that have been upgraded over the last couple of years. So our park department has come a long way, and you can be really proud of what we've got going here. With Misty Meadows, this year we're going to open up a new park in Misty Meadows, which has been absent of a park. We acquired a piece of property over there through a land swap, and we are able now to put a multi-sport theme park there. With the help of the Schofield Family Foundation, Kendall Coyne, our Olympian, who grew up right in that same neighborhood, and her husband, Mike Schofield, 2 great people. I've got the chance to know both of them over the last couple of years, and they're super people. They're real excited about the project. We had some their input with Matt Fairbanks, our rec department supervisor or administrator, and they've got some input into it, and I think it's going to be a great park. And it should open up. It'll start in spring, so maybe by the end of summer, hopefully we'll get that open. Right next to, just to the east of the rec department offices and the rec center, we're going to open up a new park there. We purchased a property which is the old Fellner property. For those of you who have been around, the Fellner family is a long-term family here in Palos Heights, and they developed some townhomes behind their house over the last number of years, and the house was standing there and went up for sale, and it was just so perfect for us to acquire that, to make it, since it's adjacent to the rec department, to make it an additional park. If you notice, the last 2 winters we've been using it for ice skating when the weather permits, which unfortunately has not been permitting very often. But we will continue to operate that as a park. We've got some designs that are being drawn right now. We're waiting right now for some grants to be made available. The OSLOT grant, which is an open land grant. Palmer Park was done with that kind of money before. That was kind of put on abeyance for a while. We understand that they're going to be opened up this year, and we will get the funding for at least part of the funding for this park, and it'll complement the rec center and our offices that are recreation that are right next to it. So we're looking forward to that. Again, an expansion of parks, and as we become a city, and things are changing. I mean, not dramatically, but we're starting to see some younger families move into town. They have younger kids, which is great. My kids grew up in this town, and now a lot of my kids' contemporaries are moving back into town here. People I see on the street know me as their coach from years past, and the father of Scott and Lynn, who grew up here, and it's a great situation. It means a lot to people to come back to the town where you grew up at. We did some other upgrades into in the parks over this past year. In a tot lot over on Nashville, we put in some equipment, and then also we did we're doing some major projects now in Crawford Park, since part of the aforementioned, we talked about recreation. Part of that, we had the water project that came through, Oak Law's water project, and kind of, in many cases, unfortunately destroyed part of Crawford Park. They're going to be resurfacing the ball fields there and all the various recreation equipment. We have had the opportunity and the pleasure to be nominated and become a participant in CAPRA, which is a National Recreation and Park Association's Commission for Accreditation of Parks and Recreation Agencies. CAPRA is the acronym for that. And it's a grueling process that we've gone through for the last 5 years or so, and it has allowed us to become one of just the 10th park and recreation agency in the state to get this accreditation, and actually the first park department to get this. In many cases, parks and recreation are a separate district. In our case, it's a department, and we are the first department in the state to get this accreditation. So my hats goes off to all the recreation staff for working through this and making this accomplishment over the years. Over the last, as far as we've had some things going on as far as recreation also, the concerts in the park, we've had some great concerts in the park this past year. A couple of them drew 500 people. The Beatles cover band Kaleidoscope, that grew 1,000. The Chicago Experience, which is my personal favorite, grew well over 1,000 people. And it's just been exciting through going after this COVID to get people out. And even towards the tail end of the COVID, we had people in the parks enjoying it out there with their lawn chairs, their blankets, coolers. I want to thank C&B Bank for their sponsorship of the concerts over the past years, along with the movies in the park. Another thing we brought back were to the fullest extent as we could were the farmers markets. After an abeyance because of COVID, we brought the farmers market back, and this coming year we've made a switch last year and gone from where we had a committee running the farmers market. Now the rec department kind of taken charge with that, and along with some other special events, and this will go forward starting in May to October of this year. I did notice, I heard they think it was Oak Lawn's Farmers Market is shutting down this year, so we probably start to get some more business from there. But it's been very successful, and it was one of the things when I took office, we didn't have one. I said, there's got to be a reason why we have to have a farmers market. And from there, we've moved it around a lot, but with the municipal parking lot where it's at, it's been phenomenal that we've been able to have it there. And then one of the things, again, going back to COVID and how it affected us in the city, and we look forward to hopefully that being done with, is the pool. Last year, at the beginning of the pool season, we had to slow down some of the people who could come, the number of people who could be in the pool, slow down the hours, and by the end of the year, we were pretty close to being back to normal, and that should continue going forward. And probably the area that suffered the most was the Parks and Recreation Center. Again, during COVID, was shut down in many cases totally. We've made a progress now, and that's coming back little by little. And every week we're seeing more people come back to the recreation, the center, and it's really doing well. So again, thank you for all your efforts of the Park Department. We will continue to have our annual events. I'm looking forward to getting back into normal. I mean, unless something changes that I don't foresee and many people don't foresee. It'll be the Car Classic, our Independence Day program. Lake Katherine will have their Monarch Butterfly Festival. We're going to have movie nights and concerts in the park, and it's going to be back to the way it was, and hopefully everybody will get out and enjoy all these events going forward. I alluded before to how proud I was to the people of Palos Heights, and one of the things was how people in town supported our businesses. You'll see on our graph here that sales tax, even during the pandemic, when going from 2019 to 2020, sales tax were down 2%. I mean, it's minimal, $20,000 on a tax number of $1.2 million. People stepped up. Restaurants did the carryouts. We had programs in the city to ask people to go back and to go to the restaurants. Everybody pitched in. Again, the partisanism did not get involved in it. People supported our local businesses. And one unique thing, not unique to us, but just different, shall we say, is that starting in 2021, all of the purchases that people used to make, or they always made, online, we now as a city, and every city is like this now, are starting to get the sales tax from that. So we saw a 28% increase in our sales tax this past year. That's $358,000 increase in sales tax on a gross number of $1.6 million. Significant dollars amount. So before, where that money kind of went away and we never received it, now when you buy something from Amazon, Etsy, whatever the online carrier you happen to use, now the city of Palos Heights, if it's delivered here, we get the sales tax. So again, that helped us pick up what was the downfall in the COVID. Another dramatic change has been the number of new businesses that have opened up in town over the last couple years. You would think that during the COVID, things would slow down. Well, that's not been the case. We've seen vacancies. The vacancy rate in Palos Heights has dropped dramatically over the last 3 years. Just last year alone, our B district, okay, which is the number of business spots available to open up a B business, went down 18%. Our vacancy rate went down to 17.7. Went down to 17.6%. When you throw and take the Dominick store, the old Dominick store, out of that, we went down 25%. We had a vacancy rate of 12% 2 years ago. We're down to 9.5% in vacancies. Significant change. That's big dollars. And you go up and down Harlem Avenue, you'll start to see a lot of the storefronts are full or new businesses are coming in. Here, just on this slide here, you'll see the number of businesses that were open during 2021. Not to mention the expansion of businesses we had, the Shelley Florist and Quality Plus Printing. Photos, they went on and expanded their business. We've got some new businesses coming in 2022. Some of them actually have already opened. One of the busiest things that it's going to happen is that coming in 2022, we're going to finally see something go in the old Dominick store. This is something that I and some of our staff has been working on. I first met with the people from Pete's 8 years ago about coming into the store. And as many of you know or may not know, there was a lease that went on with the current Dominicks, who went on to become part of Jewel, Albertson. They controlled the store. We couldn't put no one else could go in there. They were willing to pay the rent not to have somebody in there. Well, that ended actually yesterday, March 15th. And now Pete's bought the whole shopping center, has remodeled a good portion of the shopping center, and now we'll be able to start working on the store itself. In talking to the principals of Pete, they would think it may take 12 months. It's not as bad as they thought for them to open. So hopefully by the end of the year, early part of next year, we should have Pete's Market there. Also, we'll have the new Pride stores and convenience stores and filling station on 83 in Harlem. That corner's been vacant for 25 years. We've got an operator called Pride Stores. They have about 16 or 17 stores, mostly in the western suburbs, Hinsdale, St. Charles. I met with the principals, great family operation. They run a fuel operation, a wholesale fuel operation. They also run a convenience store operation, which, quite frankly, from what I've seen, is second to none. And then they have individual restaurants within their convenience stores. So I'm looking forward to this being a super first-class operation. Again, something to position in that corner. One of the things you have to realize, with the addition of those two stores, both of those stores probably will go into the top 10 stores of sales tax producers in our town. When I look at a list of the stores what they produce as far as to the city of Palos Heights and sales tax, Pete's and Pride should go into the top 10, which is phenomenal. When we get $1.6 million a year, that number now could approach close to $2 million, which is something unheard of in the city of Palos Heights. We've never had that. Along with all of those positive things, we've had some negative things. One of the negative things is, and this has been in every marketing plan we've looked at, every redesign plan of the business district, is parking. We have a problem with, Word Park. We've been successful. We're looking at taking a 1968 design shopping center, basically, which is what Harlem Avenue was, when you had small shops that maybe got one or two cars parked in front of them on a given day. Now we've got restaurants that have taken the place of those, and they have massive numbers of cars and need some place to park. We have a shortage of parking. We're looking at putting a parking lot at 123rd and 71st Court that unfortunately was rejected by the Planning and Zoning Commission last week. So the staff will continue to look at options that we have. We do need some parking though. It's been something that's been consistent throughout the needs of Palos Heights, for the last 10 years or so specifically. The building department continues to function. We last year, we had a 53% increase in the permits and inspections compared to the budget, which is phenomenal. Last year alone, we had 15 new houses that were built in Palos Heights. What that tells you is that Palos Heights is a place that people want to be. Again, I kind of alluded to it earlier, just the number of younger people who have moved back into this town, who grew up here, who were raised here. Maybe their parents moved on to a senior place or moved to Florida, whatever. But they've come here and they've become part of the town, and it's so great to see. The building department does a great job as far as issuing building permits. If you're looking to do any kind of construction for your house, check with the building department first. Another one of their job duties is code compliance, and they do a phenomenal job as far as keeping the level of business and structures that we have in town up to the levels that we want them to be. Can't say much more about anything without talking about the police department. We probably have one of the finest police departments in the southwest suburbs. There you'll see on the slide the statistics. Last year they made over 7,500 calls, for various things. Just alone we had 435 crashes. Just because of the number of streets we have that go through town here, major thoroughfares. And again, another thing we can't shortchange them on is that we had almost 3,500 hours of training. And the reason we have this, the quality of the police department we have, is because of the training that we go through, and we have devoted our officers to continuing to be trained to perform in a way that is reflective of the quality of people we have in the city of Palos Heights. Lake Katherine, another decent year after we got through the COVID. I mean, that was some place that people could walk outside, for one. The programs may not have been as organized as well. I mean, as many as because of COVID. But in fact, it was a good place and a tranquil place to go and just relax. It's 85-acre lake there, and we have about 100,000 people a year to come to Lake Katherine. So it's a place where you can kind of relax and enjoy yourself. It's amazing to me how many people, and maybe not as much anymore, but over the last 5 years or so, people who've lived here their whole life and never seen Lake Katherine. I mean, we have people from everywhere come. Metropolitan Chicago come out to Lake Katherine. I mean, it's just something, if you haven't gone out there, just please take your time and go out there and enjoy it. Just the tranquility and the nature side of it is just phenomenal. We've got some new projects that are going on, some fencing that's going on, and new arbors that are being placed in there to give it a nicer, structured look. We've got a meditation garden that was funded this year by the Do Good movement. Just sometime, as I said, you can meditate and enjoy yourself. And this year also, we'll go back, as we did at the end of last year, and do the Monarch Butterfly Festival, which we had to put on hiatus for 2 years, but this year we were able to do it. So again, it's a great place to go and just enjoy it. Again, it's the diamond of the southwest suburbs. The Palos Heights Library, right now, the biggest news is they did away with the overdue book fines. Not that I had any, but they just, like many places, they're starting to do that. They had close to 58,000 people visit in person last year in the Lake Katherine, in the library, and that's phenomenal. I mean, the number of people for a small town, I mean, you figure that's 5 visits for every resident. Obviously, that's not the way it works out, but it is a number that is staggering when you think about it. I think the biggest news for 2022 is that they're going to revamp the whole second floor, the whole youth and teen section. There was some visibility problems. You've got to be able to see everybody who's up there. Plus, the carpet was getting a little old, and many things just needed to be replaced. So they had capital funds that they had put aside to do this remodeling, and they're going to continue on with that project. The Public Arts Commission, they did a great job. They stepped up and taken the role to give us arts in Palos Heights, which is something that makes a community what it is. We had a new mural put in the rec center called Reflections. We put new vinyl tiles over here by the Public Works area for the sporting life side. They were instrumental in the Lights of Palos, or Lights of the Heights, if you at the city park here, where we had the various Christmas time had various lights where people could walk through the lights fixtures. I had my grandkids out here with the kids, and we took pictures, and it was a great thing. And we hopefully will be able to expand that going forward. They've got a project next year called the Storybook Garden Project, and that's something that looking forward to. Just a little bit of a segue here. The 2022 vehicle sticker is being devoted to the Public Arts Commission, and so they'll be reflective actually of a replica of the butterfly statue that stands at 83 and 76th Avenue. Channel 4 continued to do a yeoman's job as far as getting information out there. We had 240 shows that were broadcast, which is not short of 2,100 hours of programming. So they do a great job getting information, just as you see me here. Do a lot of, it's 240 different shows. If there's any time you've got some time you'd like to learn something, or maybe just volunteer and maybe not behind the camera or in front of the camera, please step up and give a call over to to Channel 4 to see what you can do. That became a source in many cases of information during COVID. So it's good that we've had this. Again, when we started back, 20 years ago or so, Channel 4 consisted of CDs playing in the background with a PowerPoint presentation. It was 24 hours a day, if in fact somebody had a CD. If they didn't have a CD, there was no music, but that's another story. But it's come a long way. We've got on-air personalities. Some people are becoming popular even. I mean, we don't want to go too far with this, but it's come a long way. A lot of this has to do with transparency. We know we're the city of Palos Heights. People make comments. Government's not transparent. Well, that's totally nonsensical. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Common Consent. We have newsletters. We broadcast the meetings live. We have the Open Meetings Act that people do. We have a website. We have 3,100 followers on Facebook, almost 900 followers on Twitter. Our subscription list for the emails for the city is close to 4,000, and Instagram we're at 800. I mean, those are numbers that are staggering, and considering the smallest town that we are. Before I leave, I'd just like to mention one thing that's actually not on the slides, but it's important to you to know as being part of an electorate. We in Palos Heights, as did the whole city, because of the census, went through a redistricting. So you're going to find yourself having different representatives, whether it be a state senator. The state senator you have now going forward may not be the one you've had for the last number of 10 years. The state representative, quite frankly, may not be the same one. Same thing on a congressional side, on a federal side. Your U.S. congressman may not be the same congressman you've always had. So when you start getting information about the election, pay attention. You may say, I can't vote for this person. They're not in my district. They may be in your district now. So we've had a major shift in some of our representatives. So, there's a lot of information on the website. You can get it on our website, get it by going to to the state legislator, and they'll give you the different congressional districts. So pay attention, because it's important who you vote for. I'm not saying who you should vote for, but it's going to be different people maybe than you've had over the past 10 years. Again, I want to just take time out to thank everybody for all your support over the years. We've come a long way. We've done great things, and we hopefully will continue to do so. Always looking for input, always looking for volunteers. If you'd like to serve on a commission or a committee of some sort, please just give me a call at City Hall. We're always looking for people. That's probably one of the downsides that we've seen over the last couple of years, is that many people are not willing to step up. We do need more volunteers and more people to step on commissions. So enjoy your day. Thank you for all you've done for us, and good luck. Thank you.